Okay, we're live. We're live to the group. So I'm going to close this out. There we go. No feedback. Are we getting any feedback, Eric?
No, sir. You sound clear.
We're good?
We're good to go, dude.
Nice. Chinese Medicine That Works. This is our video podcast for, I don't know, what is today? January 24th. And we have a guest on today. And his name's Eric Hunstad. Did I get it right?
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
It's not the true Norwegian pronunciation, but I just told him I'm not capable of that. I can't do that. I'm sorry. But Eric has the reason we have him on today is because he's got a really, really good book, and you were nice enough to send me a copy, which is really the only reason I do these shows, so I can read books. And it's worked. It's been working. But the book, Matt, you want to pull it up? This is the Acupuncture Information Manual. And I think that was, we were just talking briefly before we went live, that it was probably one of the better acronyms, AIM, than what you had come up with before, right?
Yeah, I had BARF. And like I said, I had FART. And although they have their charms, I think AIM pretty much, I settled with that one.
Yeah, because we're going for not the grade school crowd, but we're going for the college grad crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, which I like both of those acronyms myself. I'm also kind of stuck in the grade school. But no, that's cool. Very good. And it really is an information manual. But when we first spoke, you told me that it's great for patients, for practitioners to give to their patients. It absolutely is. But this is a damn good book for practitioners as well. I went through this. I said, this is really helpful because you have actual cited research, evidence-based, whatever else you want to call it, but you basically have conditions that you go through, and then you cite these studies as supporting the effectiveness of acupuncture and Chinese medicine for it. So before I go in and butcher it anymore, let's have you explain it since you did it.
What I didn't tell you, Josh, is that this is like the 9th rewrite I did on this thing. I wrote it, rewrote it. The first take was like a PhD thesis, and my team started to read it. They couldn't get through 3 pages, and they said, "Oh, this sucks. It's a chore. It feels like work." So I thought, wait a minute. So I'm going to make it a little user-friendly for the patients, and then it kind of started spiraling, and I realized I wanted to create a multi-purpose tool. So what I think, this book is like a Swiss Army knife for acupuncture practitioners. You might not always need the pocket knife. You might not always need the little file or the little scissors or whatever they have, but it's there and you can use it any way you want. So I do use it as a patient education tool, but I also use it as a marketing tool, and we'll kind of touch base on all the different ways I use it. And I've had some good feedback from other practitioners, and thanks for the props. I try to do my best, but technically, when you steal from one person, it's called plagiarism, but when you steal from 100 people, it's called research. So this is like a book of research, but that's its strength too, because it's not my opinion. I back up everything I say in there with research. And the funny thing is, we as practitioners don't even realize the power of our own medicine until you start looking what the actual studies show. It's amazing.
How many people out there say patients too, or skeptical patients or people?
Yes.
Oh, there's no research for that. And you would disagree with that.
Yeah, those are called spouses. So,
Either gender, we're equally saying spouses.
Exactly, spouses, right?
But what journals? I'm getting feedback. Is anybody else?
I lost the video on you guys. I can see myself, but I can't see you guys.
Maybe because now can you see us?
No.
Oh, let's see what we got here. How's that? No?
Not yet.
Yeah. Let me check on the group and see if it's coming up on the group.
Here, sorry about that. Let's see what I have for microphone. I got the headset on. Speakers on. Okay. Makes sense. Well, I mean, if anybody else is going to getting feedback, if you could please comment live feed and let us know. If you're not getting feedback, I don't care. I just hear myself echo in my head, which is normal. I hear that anyway. Usually it's my voice, sometimes it's others. But all right, so talk to me about some of the journals that you use.
Well, Yeah, I made a specific attempt not to just pull from these obscure journals. I have journals from the BMJ. I got it from JAMA, from the New England Journal of Medicine. But of course, I also have like the Journal of Meridian Studies. There's like medical acupuncture. I tried to cast a wide net. And honestly, there's so much information out there. I could have put in a lot more. Since I published this thing, there's about half a dozen more studies that I'm going to include when I do the eventual revision.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now I see you again.
Yeah, I found out what happened. Somehow the button got hit, and the button mutes it, and then when you're muted, then it won't show your video because it goes back and forth.
Human error.
Yeah, it's Matt's fault. Obviously, screwing up the equipment again. Oh, man. So that's important because you have reputable journals in there.
Yes.
Citing it. So walk us through like what a given condition might have in it as far as what you've included, because there are some things that are great for patients.
Yes.
And there are ways that we'll talk about that you can use this book for marketing and getting referrals in.
Yes.
But there are also a lot of good summaries and a lot of good there's a lot of good wording in there that help practitioners explain things to patients in more lay people's terms.
Yes, exactly. And I made a concentrated effort to make it that way. And each chapter has like, for the first condition is anxiety, for example. So the first part, I'll talk about anxiety, the statistics about anxiety, what it generally is. And that's kind of for the patient. Then I talk about studies that show how acupuncture can help that. And I think that, there's some really interesting stuff with acupuncture and even electroacupuncture with the stem cells and antioxidants and anti-inflammation, just all kinds of interesting stuff. But the word isn't getting out. Another thing I tried to sprinkle in there, but not really be too heavy, is that there's some Western or there's some medical treatments that aren't exactly as effective as the acupuncture treatments are. The evidence base for acupuncture is stronger than many commonly used medical treatments, like cortisone injections for knee pain, for example. Those actually show they're worse than placebo and cause 50% more cartilage damage than saline, but they're still doing them left and right, so that information is in there. But I didn't want it to be an anti-Western medicine book because I'm not anti-Western medicine. Thank God we have them. But at the same time, I wanted to level the playing field, because when people say there's no evidence for acupuncture, that is absolutely not true.
Yeah, the big thing is with those injections, I mean, they're so readily accepted as part of the treatment protocol for back pain.
Yes.
Physical therapy, if that doesn't work, then you get injections. If that doesn't work, then you get a surgery consult. But I've often wondered, like, what is the research behind injections, if there is any at all?
Well, surprise, surprise. There's not a whole lot of research behind injections. There's not a whole lot with a lot of surgical procedures. Now, at least the pharmaceuticals have studies, as biased and flawed as they are. But a lot of the surgical procedures there's no evidence base. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, even if they could just measure outcomes, I mean, I know it's difficult to have like a placebo and then have a surgery.
But wait a minute, they expect it from acupuncture studies, though. They expect it from us, right? It has to go both ways.
Right. So true. Matt, what else did you notice going through the book?
Another thing I noticed is just it's a very, very easy read. Like
Yes.
I literally, like I had a patient cancel, I literally just banged out like 30 pages. Like it just sucks you in and just Eric, it's like you're in a room just having a conversation with me.
Yeah, excellent. I appreciate that.
Easy to read.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I did that on purpose. And then what I tried to do is, like, if you notice, each section has a dive deeper into biomedicine section, and that's really the part for the professionals. But honestly, even the first section helps a lot of acupuncturists. And another thing I wanted to mention while I'm thinking about it is a lot of acupuncturists underestimate how many treatments are needed, or they don't feel comfortable pitching a heavy treatment plan to patients. But the evidence base shows, I put it right in the book, that's what the evidence base shows. So it's not Joe Schmuck acupuncturist saying this, who has a first year out of school, not much confidence. It's the New England Journal of Medicine saying it, or whoever. And that, I think, really helps. Some of the feedback I've gotten is that new practitioners are feeling empowered with that information.
Yeah, going with what Matt said, there are parts in there that actually are good reviews.
Yes.
For the actual practitioner as well. Now, but one of your biggest points of this book was that practitioners can take it and give it to the patient, and there are different ways that you and I talked about that the other night on the phone. And there are different ways of doing that, whether you do it with like the new patient welcome packet.
Yeah.
You know, that's one way. We talked about bringing in the health fairs and presentations, and remember the disagreeable spouse, right? The spouses will never have one spouse bring it home, and then they can go through and say, oh, okay. So there are different ways to market this. What do you envision? What are your ways that you envision people using this to help with patient education?
Well, like I said, it's the Swiss Army knife. It can educate the patient. What else it can do is generate in-house referrals, because the patient can look through the book, and of course they're going to look up what they have. But as you go through it, you can't help but notice there's like 40 different conditions. Oh, wow. Depression, low back pain, neck pain, or things, Bell's palsy or Parkinson's disease. My aunt has that, or my sister has that. Maybe they should go and get acupuncture or whatever. I'm telling you, put a stamp on that book, put your sticker, self-adhesive sticker with your clinic name, and that book is a walking commercial for your clinic.
How many times? Yeah. How many times have you had a patient that's been coming to you and they're like, oh, you're helping my knee pain. And then they come in and like a while later, they're like, oh, does this help with digestive issues, or does this help with migraines? And you're like, you assume that the connection could be made, but it really isn't.
And the fact could be, you might have even told them, you know, many times, but just because you tell them, they might not retain it, or they're not making that connection. But when you read it in black and white, it really helps to cement it in everybody's mind. And another thing, I just had another guy who bought a gross of them, and he just puts a point of sale sign in that I provide with the orders in his lobby, and it kind of sells itself. But beyond that, I think I might have mentioned he had a consult with a guy. The guy, he was running a few minutes late, so by the time he grabbed the guy out of the lobby, the guy had been reading the book, and he comes in and he's like, well, yeah, before we get started, I want to know, do you do electroacupuncture? Because I want that. He comes into the consult telling the acupuncturist, I want that because I read it in that book out there. Right. And that's, that's what I want. So that was like the most easy consult ever.
And the thing is when you're doing treatment plans or treatment packages, 600, 1,500, whatever, you throw the book in. I mean, it's not going to break the bank. You can't
exactly. You incentivize the package deal or the prepay with the book. It's a great incentive, and it's no skin off your nose. I mean, at wholesale price, you can get it as cheap as $20 a pop. And I specifically designed it in this way. Some people say, why don't you do an electronic edition? No, I can't control the information that way, number one, honestly. And number two, that takes away too much of the value of the book, as far as that turns into a pocket knife instead of a Swiss Army knife. Right. So in this way, it can do so many different other things. I said you can incentivize the prepay package. You can raffle it at a health fair in exchange for their contact information. You can, and I'll just tell you right now, I was just going to surprise you with this. I'm also, if there's enough interest, I'm going to do it for my clinic, so I might make it available for everybody else. I'm going to make a PowerPoint for every one of those medical conditions, all 40 of them, an individual PowerPoint on that condition. And I'm going to tie the PowerPoint into the book. So anybody who does the PowerPoint, that's an opportunity for retail sales of the book, or you raffle it off, or you only have so many. They have to come to your office to get it, or whatever. It's just another opportunity to utilize it as the multi-purpose tool that it is.
Right. I mean, that's like taking bringing it to a presentation or a talk that you have that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Now it's on PowerPoint. So that's pretty cool.
That's phase two. And like I said, I'm doing it for my clinic anyway. So if there's enough interest, I'll make it available, and that'll be another Chinese medicine that works opportunity to have it on your site, right?
Nice, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, I just want to tell you guys, I told you, Josh, the other day, like I've been doing acupuncture for about 15 years. I hit it hard at the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing. I spun my wheels. I kind of fiddle farted around. The first year wasn't so hot. But I made some contacts and I grinded, man. And then I've been doing well for a while, but I've been coasting. Like you said the word. I said I just kind of haven't been applying myself. You said you're coasting. You nailed it, man. I've been coasting. But when I first was trying to build my practice, I did a presentation every weekend, at least one for a year, a solid year. Sometimes I'd do 3. If I had something like this and some better PowerPoints, I could have really been rocking. But the point is, I grinded, I built it up, and then I just kind of put on cruise control, and I've been chilling. and I'm ready to stop chilling, man. It's ready to start grinding again.
I mean, yeah, I remember when I was doing presentations, 15 years ago, and I was hitting all the Rotary clubs. I didn't have anything like this. And the number one thing that we lack as graduates is confidence.
Exactly.
Being able to say, no, I mean, we know that it can work. Although, I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot of confidence as a graduate in some ways, right?
Right.
Yeah. Having this is a game changer. Absolutely.
Yeah. I especially see this helping out, especially with new graduates, but also with other practitioners that have been at it for a while, just because of the way that it summarizes a lot of the conditions. And you can go a bit deeper if you want. You can go look up the research if you want.
Exactly.
It's all cited in there.
Right. This is another thing that you can do that some people have used it this way. You can look up those individual studies. And if you have a particular patient, you want to provide that study to that patient, you can print it out on demand, basically. And you're going to be familiar with it. You're going to, have it in your back pocket, so to speak. I'm not saying print every one and just have it ready. Print on demand when necessary. It's just another option. I don't do that in my clinic. Why do that when I can sell them or give them the book? Because like I said, that book is a commercial for my clinic. I hope I'll give it for free all day long, because you can acquire a new patient for $20. I mean, I'll do that all day.
Yeah, that's just, the book looks good too. It's a good cover. Yeah, it's a good looking book, so you'd want it in your clinic as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So.
And let's see, I've been selling it a couple other ways, actually. I have a MD marketing kind of plan that I was talking to you about. Like what I do is anybody who buys the wholesale quantity, I'll just give it to them for free. It's another way that I built up my practice.
You're giving the books for free? Awesome. That's so generous.
No, I'll give you the marketing, the MD marketing plan for free. And it's nothing original. I didn't really tell you about my background. My dad was an orthopedic surgeon. My sister worked for GlaxoSmithKline. So I was kind of raised, she was a pharmaceutical rep, so that's the environment I was raised in. So I saw what they do. I saw how it works. And you got to learn how to play the game, because it is a game. And if you present yourself to MDs, you have to present yourself as a player in the game. If you don't know how the game is played, they're not going to play with you. You have to know the rules. How do you know how to play? You want to play football, you watch football, figure out how to play, then you start playing and you practice, right? So anyway, I just kind of watched and how the big pharma does it, and I copied it. So and that was really, really good. And I just kind of want to show you real fast, if you don't mind, just kind of show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. So in Florida, we can order MRIs and X-rays and do injections. So we might have a more generous scope of practice than other places. But when you can order MRIs, you get these reps of the MRI centers coming by, and they give you their paraphernalia. So they hope that you order, MRIs to their place. So I basically copied that. And this is a form that I copied for my clinic, and I make it super easy for the MD to refer. So I give this, you go to Staples and they glue it together, like 20 of them. And I go by, I don't go by that. You don't want to go by yourself. That reeks of desperation. You get somebody very attractive, male or female, it doesn't matter. Professionally dressed, no nose rings, no visible tattoos. They have to be professionally dressed. They come in with some gifts, chocolate chip cookies, something good. And I'm not talking gluten-free, non-GMO, beet juice sweetened, fair trade health squares. You get some high quality cookies from a local bakery. Guess what? Another marketing opportunity at the bakery. Anyway, and then you go and you drop off these, and with the introduction letter that I give to the wholesale people, and it tells you how to, you just rewrite the letter on your letterhead, drop off these pads. It makes it so easy. And you notice this too, it says Eric Hunstad, LIC, a gentle or a comfortable acupuncture experience, right? And anyway, so because that's, you want to make it easy. I got my map on there. I got it easy for the MD to say, evaluate and treat, or whatever they want to give me special instructions or whatever. And you just drop it off. And the point is, you get one MD, you get two MDs, you get three MDs referring to you, you have a whole new set of problems. And that's called, it's like patient good management. Good problems to have, right? And so I kind of make it easy. Some people don't want to do that. They don't feel confident, but you drop off the book, you drop off this stuff, you drop off the cookies. You don't stick, not you, but your rep. They don't stick around to ask questions. They drop it off and run. They're much too busy to be loitering and chit-chatting.
It's all about the
It's all about the presentation. You sell the sizzle, not the steak, right? So anyway, you drop that off, and even if the MD's like, this is a bunch of crap, I don't believe in it or whatever, they don't even want to look at the book. It doesn't matter, because the front desk staff will, and they will look at it, and they will talk to patients about it.
So you're leaving them books, you're leaving them the pad.
Yeah.
so that they can,
Yeah, and it's customized with your contact information, obviously, right? And you have the introductory letter. And then the thing is, when they do refer you someone, then you have to follow up and give them a little heads up about how it went. And I make that real easy and fast, too. I don't have time to be writing a long letter on every single one, but you kind of make a little pre-printed form thing. You kind of fill it out and send it on or fax it or whatever. But anyway.
I have a feeling that this may have been the knowledge you have in this, as far as in the networking, may have contributed to you doing pretty well for the last 15 years.
yes, I've been doing well, but like I said, I've been coasting, and it's
that's why you want to plug.
And you know what? Somebody had to wake me up, and it was Chinese medicine at work. So I start watching some of these guys. I'm like, wow. How come I'm not doing that? Or how come I'm sitting on my hands? Yeah, these guys are like making me look bad. You know what I mean? There's success, and I mean, as I told you before, you got guys on this group that can treat circles around me. I'm not the guy to ask about, you got an eye issue, you ask Rosenfarb. You know what I mean? Don't ask me. Yeah, I'm the wrong guy, But I do have a niche that I think I can help fulfill in this market of successful business-oriented acupuncturists. And guess what? That's what we need as a profession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
people who are broke people are not going to change this profession.
No.
So anyway,
you just hit it right on the head. I mean, that's exactly it. And you're not going to change it in so many ways that it needs to be changed and it needs to be defended.
Right.
Last week we had Aubrey on for the acupuncture societies we were talking about.
Yes.
You have more successful practitioners. They're going to be able to do more politically.
Exactly.
Expand the scope.
Yeah, that's how we're going to be able to get respect for a profession. That's how we're going to be able to defend our scope, expand our scope.
Exactly.
And just have people that are actually happy and enjoy practicing and not struggling all the time. And I agree. I mean, I think CMTW definitely is one of the things I hope that it is, and it is for us too, is people are doing amazing things and it motivates you.
Yes.
One way or the other. You're like, damn, but not in a bad way, not in like a self-loathing, oh my God, woe is me, what the hell I've been doing. Although we all have moments of that, don't get me wrong. Like, oh crap, I got to up my game. That's a good thing.
Right, exactly. And like I said, I told you on the phone, there's a saying in China that says when the water level rises, all the boats benefit equally. And you guys have been raising the water level and we've all been benefiting. And now I'm going to throw a few drops in that pool too. So, we'll all pull together and raise the profession. Right. And look at Amazon or something like that. They changed the game, but not only that, I love it as a customer of theirs. I can place an order in 2 days. I have it. That changed my life. That's so awesome. Mm-hmm. Let's be the Amazon of acupuncture or whatever. It doesn't be that fast, but I'm saying is change people's lives, make it easy access and know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. when you engage in a conversation, back it up with research or I minimize, I think in Chinese medicine, I speak in medical terminology. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I do it. The book is mostly about acupuncture. I didn't put any, or not much. I put a little bit of herbal stuff in it, but I think herbal medicine, there's a lot more qi concept you can use, but with acupuncture, not so much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You got to speak the language and you have to be able to you just have to be able to, if you want to connect with MDs and other referral sources.
Yes.
Yeah. And the general public too. I mean, early on and when I started practicing, I had no idea how to talk in these terms,
Not at all. School didn't educate me that way at all. No. We had a clinic that had about 15 rooms and people could get treated super cheap. It was an easy sell. You don't have any idea of a treatment plan or anything. And the patient comes in, they get somebody else the next time anyway. So there's no incentive to try to, get any momentum or, you just practice and experiment. Basically, that does not prepare you for the real world at all.
Right. You don't get to see the actual progression of the disease, progression of the recovery.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we need these resources. And, I didn't have them 15 years ago.
No.
And that's one of the reasons that when we started CMTW, we knew what we had a vision, but of course it's like with anything else, it grows into something more than you ever thought it was going to. Right. Yes. But I mean, we benefit if you got any motivation from CMTW, that's awesome.
A lot. And I continue to do so. And it's, and you can feel it, you guys have changed it. And, you know, there's other groups out there, and you guys have actually changed those groups for the better, just so you know. When you see somebody that is on top of their game, and then you realize, wow, it's kind of like when Nirvana came out and all the hair metal bands are like, wow, we do look kind of stupid, right? You know what I mean? Wow. That's kind of how it is with you guys. You guys have changed the game. Showing my age there a little bit.
Well, it's our age.
Yeah.
It's a little nostalgia for those hair metal hair bands, right?
Moment of silence.
I mean, I could not name a dozen off of the top of my head. No.
It's called my playlist. What are you talking about?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's right, man. Glory days. Respect.
Yeah. Lynn says, yeah, in Florida we have a nice scope. Yeah, you do.
We really do.
Damn.
Let's utilize it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now you're doing ozone injections or something?
Yeah, I don't think I told you that, but we do them in our clinic, yes.
No, that just recently got approved in Florida, didn't it?
Well, they've been doing it for a while. I don't know when it was actually approved, but you know, sometimes people have to lead that charge, and but we've been doing it in our clinic for about, I don't know, maybe 6 months. But I personally don't. I am injection certified. I'm not doing the ozone. We have another acupuncturist that comes in and does that, and I don't want to step on his toes. I'll let him do his thing, and he's a super cool guy. Right. And you know, this is another thing I want to mention too. My town, I live in a small town. There's 45,000 people in Titusville, approximately, maybe 47,000. I can't treat them all. There's no competition here. You know, this is going to raise the water for everybody. I can't do it by myself, right? I need help.
So this is exactly what I mean. To have the scarcity mentality in our profession just baffles me. When about what I know Sharina has these numbers, but like 0.5% of the population or 1% has tried acupuncture.
Exactly.
I mean, God, there's enough to go around. I mean, when you look at how few acupuncturists there are in so many states, which leads to the problem with some of these acupuncture societies, they don't have the numbers.
Yes.
You know, to pay the dues, to pay the yearly annual fees. So it's hard to raise money because there are so few acupuncturists. I mean, there's only 400, not even in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot more in Florida, of course, but
yeah, I think we're the third or fourth largest state in the country. You know, California, New York, Texas, and then Florida or something like that. But even then, there's like 1,800 of us in the whole state. That's not that many, you know?
Millions.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the number. I think it's about 1,800.
Yeah, and you always got to wonder, like, how many of those are actually practicing, right?
And those that are practicing are treating, you know, they work 2 days a week or 3 days a week or something like that. There's a lot of, especially the older crowd, and that's cool too, because you know, I like the net's got to cover everybody, and there's a place for we have a community acupuncture place in Titusville, and there's a place for those people, and I refer people to them. To be honest with you, if someone can't, you know, they don't want to pay the price at my clinic, that's fine. Go to them. They're great acupuncturists too. And then you can come back later when it didn't work.
Oh, what a
ouch! No, I didn't. I don't say that, but you know what I mean.
I had no idea with our previous conversations that you were like this. Jeez, I apologize. No, I don't apologize for you because it's true. I mean, look, they're going to like it or they're not, and they're going to come back.
Right, exactly. And if they don't, then more power to them, because if they have a legitimate, you know, financial concern, I'm just joking, you know, that if they have a concern, I want them to be in a place where they're comfortable. Right. And I'm glad we have community acupuncture here. So it's not my thing, but I'm glad it's here.
Yeah, it's not sucking patients from your practice. It's not
a bit
pulling
not a bit
at all. You know, that's
not even a dent.
Yeah. So this is very cool. So you want to reiterate, and I'm just gonna, because Matt, you answered that one. Yeah, it's acupuncture information manual.
Yes.
It's at the top of our acuvids.com website. It's at the very top. You'll see it. It's not with the other products. It's in its own. Lynn got his own top real estate. Right?
Nice.
Right, top of the website. I don't know how the hell
I like it.
That off, but actually we had nowhere else to put it. That's why.
Got lucky on that one, but yeah, I do appreciate that. And yes. You know, I was telling you, it's going all over the world, and we sold one today from your audience that wasn't even on there yet, from Canada. So that's excellent. It's going all over, and it's international shipping. It's all automated. No worries. I try to keep it pretty simple. UK, the Netherlands, actually. The Netherlands is apparently a hotbed for people who want acupuncture research. I've sold a bunch of them to the Netherlands. So maybe they see my name and they're like, that's one of us. Let's do it. You know, I don't know. But I sold a couple to the UK. You know, it's gone all over. I've had some inquiries about India, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm interested. I've never shipped anything to India. I'm kind of excited about it. But anyway.
Can you ship to India?
Oh, yeah. I got the green light. I'm ready to go.
Interesting.
And
but I want to mention again before I forget the whole the wholesale. If you get the wholesale, which starts at $12, you have 2 wholesale options.
Yes.
You add in a marketing packet like you mentioned before to the MDs. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, that's true. I add the MD marketing package. I put the MD referral form, the pre-printed one that I use, and then they can copy it and model it, right? I just give them an example, and also the introduction letter, and along with the overview of the marketing plan that I use.
What's the PowerPoint you were talking about? If there's enough interest, that'll just be included with the books.
No, that's going to be a whole nother thing. I have to kind of develop that. I'm not sure how I'll implement it, but that's where I'm going with it, at least for my practice. I'm going to do it one way or another. If people are interested, then I can share it and through you guys or something like that. But I'm going to do, it'll be its own little thing. And then it's going to tie into the books. I'll make it kind of, because I told you I did presentations every week for a year, at least one, sometimes 3 in a week. And I was grinding and, I didn't have it dialed in yet. Sometimes I do a great presentation and get 0 patients. Yeah. Sometimes I would do kind of a fly by the seat of my pants and I'd actually get some patients in. You never know. So, but anyway, I did it for free. I wasn't making any money from that. I mean, I acquire patients, of course, but I want to make a way to, I want to quit doing free presentations. So I want to have something I can retail right on the spot and tie it into the PowerPoint. And I've done enough presentations to know how to hook people and make them interested and make them want to take that information home with them. And like I said, that makes it a walking commercial for your business or for your clinic. And so that's kind of how I want to tie that in with the PowerPoint.
In the PowerPoint, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So I had something else, but I completely forgot. I think we have a comment here, Matt. Do we?
Let's see.
Let me refresh this guy here. Down here.
Well, I know Peluso mentioned I was cute today. Josh, you look cute. Oh, thank you, Michael. You're pretty snazzy today too.
I had some people commenting on how few ACUs there are in their states. Got somebody who's meeting with a doc tomorrow to meet with the staff.
Well, that's another funny point because, I lurk in some of these other Facebook groups. Like there's a great one, the Acupuncture Research Share Group. And that's kind of geared more towards research. But you'd be surprised how many times I've seen people ask, does anybody have any easy to, use or easy to understand information on acupuncture research? I've seen that a dozen times or more. And they don't really, that's not really the place to pitch my book or whatever. But I mean, if a group that's geared towards research has to ask that question, that shows you there is a need for this, So anyway.
It's just crazy. I mean, I look back when I started and it was just nuts. I mean, I was in a small town, but the orthopedic surgeons were referring. And if I had any degree of organized information, this is the time. This is the time to go to school and graduate, really, because there's so much information out there, so much supportive information. And I think genuinely, everybody in the group wants everybody to kick ass. They want everybody really, really well. And that just is like in a world where there's so much negativity and crap going on.
Right.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Nice to have.
Yeah, it's way nice. And you guys are like a big part of that. So that's really awesome. And another thing. This is part of that too, but I was
just thinking, damn, I could have used it back in the day, along with a lot of other stuff.
And then I tied in some other stuff too. The president just declared like the opioid epidemic crisis and all that. I have information on the opioid epidemic in there. And when you get these letters to, like I said, the MD referral letter, I kind of write in my little game plan on the marketing. You customize it. If you're targeting a pain management, you take the opioid information out of there and you target that in your letter. Or if you're targeting a GYN, if you specialize in fertility, then go to the fertility chapter, cherry pick those studies and put a little ode to that in your letter that you give to that. I'm telling you, you don't need that many medical professionals on your team to fill your practice. And it's not that hard. Yeah. And with these opioids, they're looking for acupuncturists, but they don't want somebody who doesn't know how to play the game. You have to be professional. They don't want some doofus who's, talking about unicorns or whatever, you know?
Right.
We should drop this off to we work with a veterans nonprofit.
Yes.
And then we end up getting a lot of VA referrals. My God, we should have some of these.
Yeah. I'm putting in an order.
Yeah.
Try to get a couple dozen of them at least.
Nice.
Yeah, because we can have those right at the nonprofit we work with for veterans.
Exactly.
Bring this to the VA would be nice. I mean,
I've done that. You know, I treat a lot of veterans too, and I have this point of contact. I sent him one. He's like, "Wow, I've got a lot of patients from him. It's excellent." And like I said, so it costs me, $20 or whatever. It's not that big a deal. I'll make that back so easily. You know, if I hand them out randomly, I'll probably make that money back. But if you target it specifically with the right population, you can maximize your return on your investment by targeting the people you want. And like I said, you can just pull the information from the book. It's pretty, like you guys mentioned, it's kind of cut and dry. It's pretty easy to understand, and it's all there. I did the legwork, and I've been doing this a long time, 15 years, like I said, and I'm kind of like one of those hoarders. When I was a kid, I hoarded comic books. I was one of those kids. Then I got older, or whatever. I just hoarded stuff. So I kind of hoarded medical studies over the years.
I saw you on that show. What's
yeah,
on A&E or something?
I have a problem. Yeah, I'm in treatment now. I'm getting acupuncture for that. But anyway, when I first started back in like. Yeah, no, those records are sealed actually. But anyway, I started getting this stuff. Every time a study would come out, I was like, wow, it was like seeing a Bigfoot or something. I'd heard of it, but I never saw. So anyway, I would print it and I would put it in my stack, and it'd be like one a year maybe. And now, the last few years, it's coming out hot and heavy, but even most acupuncturists aren't aware. I don't know. I subscribe to several journals, and I just kind of. That's just what I like to do. I find a weird pleasure from looking at the studies. Yeah. And anyway, and trying to put it in a simple format. That's the other part of the equation. The studies come out, and the average person can't understand a study. So you kind of have to make it in user-friendly terms. And that's what I strive to do with this book, make them understand how acupuncture can benefit them and what the study actually proved.
Yeah, but essentially, like you mentioned early on in the show, that you were just getting information from many different sources and putting it into one place. Because, I mean, we know the studies are out there, but my God, it just seems, along with everything else we have to do, now we have to find them and then and then put them in a, organize them into like a resource. And it's like, well, it's been done essentially. Exactly. And in my case, why do the work every single time when you can do it once, and someone who buys it, you can buy it and have someone else do it for you. I mean, how great is that? So you want to name a few conditions that you have in here? Oh yeah, I have anxiety. I have IBS, or I have digestive disorders separated into upper GI, lower GI. There's Parkinson's. There's a surprising amount of information on Parkinson's disease and acupuncture. It's amazing. But there's a few conditions I didn't put in the book. Let's talk about that for a second. Insomnia. We all know acupuncture helps and everything, but the evidence base isn't very solid, unfortunately. That doesn't mean it doesn't work for it. There's just no proof of it. So I didn't put it in there. The stuff, when you see the conditions in there, that evidence is solid. And of course, the pain stuff, low back pain. I'm trying to think of some other interesting things that aren't quite common. So let me just look real fast. Have you reached out to colleges? It's on my list of things to do. That's a pretty long list right now. And but definitely my alma mater for sure. I'm going to drop some off there just for the hell of it, and we have a lot of people on the group who are either adjuncts at colleges or they're students right now. Yes, and I've actually sold some to students already. But anyway, there's peripheral neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, smoking cessation, shingles, osteoporosis. Who would have thought, right? I didn't even realize that. Acupuncture is big for osteoporosis. Neck pain, low back pain, knee pain, meniscus injuries. We're talking, here's another market right here. The post-knee replacement and post-hip replacement crowd. So I'm living in Florida. That's huge here. Knees and hips, all the time. Well, we can treat them, help them recover faster. Acupuncture has been shown to help you recover from general anesthesia faster. It's been shown to help have functional recovery more quickly for both of those conditions. That can fill your practice right there. There you go. Pre and post-op, right? Here's another one, high cholesterol.
Who knew acupuncture can help lower your cholesterol? Wow. Anyway, fertility, of course, we know. Eye disorders, thanks to Andy. I took that great seminar of his in North Carolina. It was amazing. This is a little tidbit. I had the book finished, actually, except for the eye disorder chapter. And I purposely waited. I wanted to see him. I wanted to meet him. I wanted to listen to him before I put anything in that book. And I'm so glad I did. So nice. He gets a little nod on that, because that little chapter right there wouldn't exist without him, or if it did exist, it'd be pretty lame. But anyway, yeah, it'd be pretty lame. Depression, though, carpal tunnel, lots of great stuff with carpal tunnel. Asthma, even arthritis, autoimmune disorders. I mean, it goes on and on. And like I said, I'm going to try to make a PowerPoint for every one of those specific conditions.
That's awesome. That's the next. I wouldn't say logical, because it certainly wasn't logical to me, but for you, it's logical. Your work. So yeah, it seems like a good logical step. We have a question.
Hang on a second.
We had somebody ask what journals you like. What journals do you like?
I subscribe to probably about 4 or 5. Some of my friends, of course, I like the Medical Acupuncture Journal, and that's another thing. You know, a lot of acupuncture, like, oh, medical doctors doing acupuncture. No, you know, but that journal produces some amazing stuff. It kind of goes back to the Nirvana example. They publish that, and you're like, wow, those guys are making me look bad. They're on top of. They're bringing their A game. You know, I better bring my A game. So anyway, I like medical acupuncture. I like acupuncture and medicine. That's published by the BMJ. I like the. I go to Medscape every day and look through there. I go to PubMed and just kind of browse. I'm a weirdo, but I also subscribe to JAMA. I also subscribe to Fertility and Sterility. Let's see what else. I have email access or online access to New England Journal of Medicine. I think those are my top ones. But those are expensive, man. They're not cheap. But I'm one of those guys. I do like looking online, but I learn better from holding things in my hand. That's another reason with this book. I learn better from having it in my hand and being able to flip the pages. So again, I might be showing my age, but that's another reason I wanted to produce an actual physical book.
Yeah. Well, there is so much stuff online, and it definitely is different reading it online versus reading it in a book.
Yes. And like I said, I summarize it too, because some of it is not exactly light reading. And especially for the patients, you know, you get the deer in the headlight look pretty quickly when you start. So I try to make it pretty simple, but I also wanted to address questions I get every day. And so now I can say it's in the book, you know, like, how does acupuncture work? Or, you know, what's a meridian, or what's an acupuncture point, or is there any evidence on acupuncture for this or that? Anyway, all those frequently asked questions are now answered, and I don't have to repeat it every single day a gazillion times.
That's nice.
So that helps too. And of course, you know, I might as well address it now. I don't really put anything on the energy model in here. I basically will talk about it a little bit as far as what is acupuncture. Acupuncture is traditionally thought of as the meridians and the chi and that. I'll always mention traditionally. And then I talk about what the meridians are from a biomedical perspective. And there's lots of interesting theories on that. There's about 5 or 6 leading theories. But of course, I have my own opinion. I think what it is, but you'll have to read the book to find that out. And no spoilers. But anyway, the information's in there, and that's intriguing to me by itself. What are acupuncture points from a medical perspective? It has been studied, but we just aren't really taught that.
That's the majority medical field is compromised of not acupuncturists. It's compromised of other professionals, other specialties. So let's get on board with them.
Exactly.
Get into their world.
And the other thing is, don't be afraid of them. They, like I said, they want to get people off of opioids. They're looking for qualified people. They want to hand you money. You know, that's what they're doing, you know? So learn how to accept it and learn how to operate in their world, because it is their world. Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And although we're in our own world, but we have to be able, we can definitely get into theirs, and we can bring them into ours, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be everything's going to be fine.
Exactly.
And a couple questions?
Hang on, let me refresh this again.
I think we had a couple more.
Well, somebody wanted to know how many pages. I just answered that one in the comments.
Yeah, it's just under 200 pages.
Yeah,
but a couple of them
185, I think.
And like what is it, like 20 font? It's like the big letters.
Yeah, you see, I got my readers. I got the readers on. It's like I wanted to make it where I could read it without wearing these things. But anyway, I don't know if I succeeded or not. But yeah, it's a big font, and because the truth on that is when you print the web address of the studies, if it's a small font, some of those little characters you can't see it, and you can't understand what's an underscore or something like that. So I did actually. That was another reason I enlarged the font.
And I guess at some maybe after Eric, if you could hop in and just list the journals out in the feed here, you'll see the post.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, can these journals be listed?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Lynn mentioned we have fascia theory, pain gate, midbrain, and so many ways to explain it. There are a ton of ways to explain it. And
take your pick, and you kind of choose what. With the patient and what where they are, you can kind of communicate to them on their level.
Yep, or to the medical specialty.
Exactly. But you know what, too, on that same point, a lot of my patients these days, it wasn't this way when I started so much. A lot of my patients now know a lot about their condition, especially if it's something like that modern medicine isn't very good at. They know. So you kind of need to be on top of that too, and that's why I put that other information on what it is. And another quick thing. On when I wrote this, I was flabbergasted. Like basically every condition in here, you're looking up what the medical research shows on what it is. This condition is not understood biomedically, or like so many conditions they don't understand that we see in our clinic every day. So anyway, that's just kind of and how many people suffer from those conditions. It's in 2 million people have carpal tunnel. 5 million people. I mean, there's plenty of patients out there. You just have to identify who you want and then go get them.
Right. Do you have anything on there on fibro?
Yes, as a matter of fact. I do have fibro. Now, I'm no Andrew, okay? So this is the evidence base on fibro, okay? I'm going to go see him in San Antonio, by the way. So anyway, there is a chapter on fibro and what the evidence base shows on fibro.
Yeah, because we need our information to be able to treat it in the way we do. And then we also have the other piece of the puzzle, and that's,
Exactly. But this way, the patient knows you can treat it. It is treatable. Right. And then you can use, and that's another point. There's in this acupuncture information manual, there is evidence for auricular acupuncture, balance method, imaging. There's micro systems. You can, you scalp. I mean, you pick the system that you use. I guarantee you there is a study in that book that supports it. So that's another thing. Now, I didn't break it down like that. I thought about it but then I kind of thought, no, I don't want to,
No, it's been long enough with this.
Yeah. I don't want to make it too easy, and that's another reason there's not an index in there, because I wrote this. I don't have like a publishing house. This is all a one-man show on this book. So the index was going to be impossible. I already rewrote the thing 9 freaking times. I would have had to change the index 9 times, So I said, forget it. It ain't happening.
And that's why we appreciate what you're doing, because you're a one-man show. You're just working on this independently. And,
yes.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well, I do have a team that helps me implement it, but I'm the guy. I'm generating the data, and I wrote the book. They help me with the website and things like that. I do have a team. I'm not saying I didn't make my website or whatever, my clinic name and all that. I have a clinic. I have people working with me there. Yeah. And but anyway, I'm a one-man show as far as if there's a typo in that book, it's my fault. So
I'll find it.
I know you will. Your eyes start glazing after 9 times you're writing. I'm like, I don't even care at this point if there's a typo,
Yeah, that's like, and you didn't have anybody help you edit it. That's just wrong. You don't have anybody you could.
I tried, and they were like, no. After 9 times, they were like,
they're like,
no, we don't care anymore.
I did that 8 times already.
You're just gonna change it again, So I don't know if there's many typos in there, but I'm sure there is. But it's the information that's in there that's important. Remember that.
Yes. And I'm just gonna wrap up. I mean, Eric, after we close this out, you might want to hop into because Lynn put in there, asked if there were plans for a specialized digital version.
Yeah, I don't want to do a digital version. I'll tell you why, because it's too easy to pirate it. And when I was in school, I got a digital copy. I sent it to all my friends. And so I don't want that happening to me. And number 2, with the digital copy, it does take away some of the benefits. That turns it from a Swiss Army knife into a pocket knife. And that's kind of not what I want to do. I want
because the way you want to disseminate this to doctors' offices.
Exactly. I want it to, you can't use it in those ways. You can't have it sitting on your computer and it doesn't have legs that way. I want this thing to have legs.
Very good. Well, that was really excellent. I'm out of questions.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. And hey, thank you guys too. Thanks for having me on here, and thanks for putting out the great content. You know, and like I said, you guys got some great people, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite resource. Just so you know, you guys are a lot more fun than those journals, man. It's like they get a little dull, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to be uptight or stuffy, but
right?
You want to have a purpose without being pretentious. It's a balance, that's for sure.
Yes, and thank you for making me better. Make me a better practitioner. I appreciate that. And thanks your whole team. I want to thank your whole team for that, because like I said, you guys have not only motivated me to kind of achieve my potential or try to strive for that, but you also help make it easy for me too by helping me. I mean, your videos are awesome, and even you got some heavy hitters on your team. So definitely. It's awesome and much needed. Breath of fresh air, actually.
It's like I always say, I mean, the only reason Matt and I did this is so we can get free seminars. That's pretty much it. We just find these great people to work with, and then we just, benefit from it. Hey.
Well, you got to video it, right? I mean, you got to be there, Hey.
Yeah.
It's true. True. Got to make sure everything runs smoothly as I'm getting a free seminar, but that's good.
Best seat in the house, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll catch up on the group.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks you guys. And I'll get on that, and I'll try to answer if there's any other questions too.
Yeah, the book is the Acupuncture Information Manual. Go to acuvids.com. It's right at the top menu. You'll see it. And check it out. I mean, the table of contents is there too.
Yes, that's right.
Hopefully check it out. And I don't think anybody will be unhappy with it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, I have had zero requests for refunds at this point, and with a group with acupuncturists, that's pretty good, man. You know how we are. We're a tough crowd.
That's unheard of.
We are
a tough crowd, and everyone's been really pleased. So I'm grateful.
Awesome.
Anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Just posted a link in the comments for everybody.
Oh, to the Acuvids page with that. Okay, great. Eric, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right.